everybody ready to start?
Yeah.
I'm ready to rock.
Anybody calling dibs on the intro, or should I start it?
Eric, do you want to, or should I?
I don't like doing intros, so...
Fair enough.
I'll do it.
All right. My name's Chris. I just woke up, and this is our podcast. I'm joined, as usual, thankfully, by Taylor.
That's me.
And Eric.
That's me.
Don't lie to me. And Chris.
Chris number 2.
Otherwise
Or
known
Chris
as
number
Ferox, to avoid being redundant.
All right,
That's
and
fair.
we're going to be talking about some shit today.
Some
Again,
serious stuff.
Some serious, some not so much. You want to start with the correction from last week, Chris? Keep it relevant.
Yep, so unsurprisingly, I made multiple mistakes. Recently? Yes, very recently. Last
Oh, no.
podcast, in fact. And it wasn't just mixing up Strong and Fox either. It was the Nintendo Labo stuff, where the article I was referencing that said the stencils were going to be freely available online was actually a mistake on the part of IGN France, and they had to issue a correction.
Ooh.
That Nintendo specifically stated that they will not be made freely available, at least not on their own platforms.
Much less cooler.
So basically, they're saying people are going to find a way to pirate it, but hey, we're not
We're
doing
not
it.
giving it to them.
Like, if you're going to pirate, but we're not just going to let you take it from
Yeah.
us.
I give Reddit 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the internet in general.
Well, like, is it actually cardboard, or is it a different material?
It does appear to be cardboard as far as what they've told us so far, but here's the thing. When I was looking further into it, there's also a discussion of the fact that there is some proprietary nature to the cardboard. First off, that infuriated me. Then the other part made me trying to figure out how, until they were describing the fact that the actual assembly of the components is baked into the startup instructions of the game.
Okay, because what I was gonna say was, like, if the pieces can be, like, scanned individually or something, and a more, not like your average, like, run-of-the-mill printer, but printers can print on cardboard. So
So
that
far,
is
there
a
doesn't seem to be
thing.
anything that's specifically detecting the surface level of the cardboard.
mhm.
As far as my research goes, it does appear to just be regular cardboard, but if Nintendo is selling replacement parts, then I have to be skeptical for a bit.
Yeah.
Like, I
But
can't
then you
imagine.
also
Maybe
say
it's like...
that it's tough to obtain materials without buying the full game kit.
Wait, what?
I thought Chris said that you couldn't really obtain the materials for it unless you buy the kit with the game.
There is no way, as of this time, to buy just the game. You have to buy it with the kit. So that
Oh,
means
you
that
can't buy just the game.
So that means
So-
currently the game price is set at $70, and that's the only way to get it, and that's everything.
So even if you did somehow find a way to, like, make the things yourself, you
would
wouldn't
have to get it
the game.
pre-owned or something like that then.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Now, we're not debating the ethics of this because, I obviously support consoles while they're out and stuff, if a company's actively making something, whatever. But as far as logistics, let's face it, there's going to be ways around that with software, copying and stuff like that. The interesting thing, though, is, what Chris was saying about how are they going to make this proprietary? It's cardboard. But I do think it's interesting because, like we were saying last week, it's still not terribly priced for a family-friendly activity set. And theoretically, once you buy the game and the cardboard, right, it'll be fine as long as you take care of it. And you can't buy the game separately, but that implies that you can buy the cardboard separately in case you need to make a repair.
Like, I just don't see, like, the big specialty of, like, the big thing for me is, like, proprietary cardboard. Like, yeah, you could probably have paper, like, a little thicker, a little more corrugated in some parts, maybe a little easier to fold in a couple parts. But, like, that's all stuff you can get on your own. It's not like... Unless you're, like, really in development of their own cardboard.
Like,
Which-
my initial thoughts were they would somehow have, like, and this is me being wildly speculative here, they would somehow
Right.
have RFID chips implanted in them in random segments for like
never
scanner
considered
integration or
that.
even amiibos.
Wow.
Which is funny because that doesn't like. I'm splitting hairs here, but I think it's funny. Like, it doesn't make it proprietary. It just makes it chip
Harder.
protected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it,
You're
was
not
that
using
DR
anything anybody else isn't.
That's like
You know,
new
back in my day, we
age.
just microchipped our dogs and cats. We didn't microchip our cardboard.
That's like new age DRM.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it really is.
For the
And,
recycling age. Huh.
Yeah.
although with the it's tough because as long as they're making something that is original and they're not ripping anybody off or whatever, I mean, is there a ton of harm in it? I don't really think this is anything like, because okay, I don't like when companies do shady stuff. We've talked about it on the show before, but whereas I've criticized Amiibo a million times over for being restrictive to a general audience, this is something that if you want the game, you need to want the cardboard as well. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like,
whereas an Amiibo, I could want the costume in a game without wanting to have to buy a little action figure.
Like, I don't think it's like harmful, but I just think it's kind of silly.
It's weird. It's very weird.
Well, and also, like, you know, I could want the Amiibo because it's like a cool little figure, but like I don't give a shit about like the features I get in game from it.
I think it's a dangerous gamble anyway for a company to combine values into things like that by saying, like, look, we can charge $13 for these $5 figurines because they have value as collectibles, they have value as in-game content, but you're losing fans who want just one of those two things.
Yeah, the part of this I'm trying to keep an open mind on, but I'm trying to force myself, is differentiating between what I would be willing to purchase and what is a viable purchase for another person. Because this is something I would not get. If I get a controller or anything like this, a peripheral, I'm going to keep it for a while and put it on display. Like, I still have most of my Rock Band and Guitar Hero stuff.
Me too.
Yeah, same.
Ironic that you brought that up, but I'll tell you why on the next topic.
Yeah, we have a news update after this.
But no, that's a good point. Like, good example. A lot of people who play games like to criticize sports game players because, oh, you're paying for the same game every month or every year with just some minor updates. First of all, they change sports games a lot year to year. But second of all, you're just not the audience, and that's fine. You don't have to be the audience for every game. We just might not be the, Nintendo Cardboard audience. So
and clearly we're not, because it is aimed at young audiences, and we're all in our 20s. So
right, and I mean
Unless
that doesn't
somebody's
mean
hiding a kid
it
somewhere we don't know
might
about.
not be fun for all ages, but we don't know yet.
what'd you say, Chris?
Unless someone here is hiding a kid we don't know about.
No, I hope not.
Taylor, Chris.
No.
Eric, you said you had a son before the podcast. What happened to the deer?
Oh yeah, he died.
Oh, okay.
He went back to the void.
Back to the void?
He
Is
was,
that where
he was
came
in
from?
it.
Yeah, he was born in the void. My son.
A benign forest creature born from the void.
He's not that benign. He's very
Sounds like the
skeletal.
powers of chaos to me.
He is very chaotic.
But yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Chris, where it's like, it's weird because it's such an out there idea, but I'm also trying to remain aware that I may just not be the audience, and that's okay.
Yeah, I think another good way of putting
Or
this
is it?
Or that.
Or that.
Well, yeah, no,
Okay,
I think it's
so-
okay. Like, I understand the whole thing. We just had to like correct what we said last time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. If I make mistakes, call me out on it. And if anybody else makes mistakes, I'm probably going to hear about it too. So,
Yep.
Pretty much.
other than that, I guess the only worthwhile thing to add is Nintendo Labo's price point. We did mention previously the game and kit is $70, but that's just to start with. And I think this might be tying into a discussion that's been going on. I'm not going to blame Extra Credits for it, but I'm going to acknowledge them slightly on possibly raising the price of games at like general retail levels.
Wait, what?
Oh?
Yeah, it's. Do you ever watch Extra Credits?
No.
They
Can't
caught
say
a
I
lot
do.
of flack last week when they're members of the industry, animators, designers, that kind of stuff, and they tried doing an informational video last week about how games should not cost $60 anymore. And
Oh, that they
got a
think.
lot of
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Where they think it should cost more, right?
yeah, they were talking about
more
to keep up with inflation and production costs. It should
Well,
probably be somewhere in,
I'll play
$80,
devil's advocate and say that game prices have actually been pretty stagnant for a while,
been
because if
steady
you look
since
back at old
2005.
ads, what?
They've been pretty steady since, 2005?
I'm not
Plus
gonna lie.
13 years?
I'm not gonna lie though, I do like seeing a good old fashioned $40 game.
Well, back in the 90s, brand new games were still $60.
Yeah,
and-
wasn't like E.T. $60 when it came out?
Yeah.
Go look at old ads.
Yeah,
And-
old gaming magazines, like, well, they'll have, like, the list of, like, some company will, like, put an ad for, like, their shop. Like an import shop or something.
Some SNES, not even imports, some
Well, yeah.
domestic SNES games were like $70 or $80.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, just be happy we're not in Australia. Apparently games there cost $80.
Yep.
Shout outs to my boys in New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand
They're
as well.
suffering hard.
Yeah, and if
we'll
the
pour one down
Australians
for
want
you
to get
guys.
something like Saints Row or South Park, then they not only have to pay more for it, but they also have to get a censored version.
Yeah.
Really?
They just got an adult rating for their games within the last 3 years, and the government will not let them use it.
Wait, really?
Yeah, the South Park devs put a special scene in one of the cutscenes
Uh-huh.
where it's a koala munching on a leaf, because it was, and it comes with a message that says, "Hey, you're in Australia. You're not allowed to see this scene."
It's
Oh,
trouble for you.
wow.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
It was in Stick of Truth.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like the weird censorship with stuff like Left 4 Dead, where they can't show certain bodily harm or particle effects, so it's basically
Yeah.
like a paintball game. Like, this is the kind of stuff you would expect going into, like, Germany, where they refuse to let Wolfenstein go uncensored.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't hear
Yeah,
about
it's
that.
like- Yeah, Germany has a lot of restrictions on Nazi iconography and other
true,
remnants of
true.
World War II history.
Okay.
So, Call of Duty, when it's set in the World War II, Wolfenstein, you name it, those games have to be heavily censored, if they even release there at all.
Man, it's crazy for a place that like has the most deadly animals on Earth.
Yeah, they probably figure they have enough problems.
Yeah, right? Like about 80% of the animals there want you dead. Mostly spiders.
Yeah, like, your front yard is an NC-17 movie in Australia, depending on whether or not you left out anything to attract the wildlife. But they can't have R-rated movies, or not movies, but, like, M-rated games.
Oh no, a giant spider has come for me. Those 8-legged freaks.
Never saw that movie.
Me neither. I want to see it though.
But yeah, so I think it's interesting that people are saying, oh, well, games should be more expensive, because I don't necessarily disagree that, like, costs and all that have gone up. And this is not becoming an economics talk show, but a lot
we
of
have to pretend to be
people's
economically
complaints
illiterate
are
later, remember?
that- What?
We have to be economically illiterate later when we pretend we know what we're talking about for the acquisition talk.
Exactly. I'm saving my ignorance for one big blaze of glory. But no. But in all seriousness, like, people, the big argument is, people say we understand inflation, but we're not getting paid anymore. So, ironically, that also can go back to the studios, who are saying we're working our butts off trying to stay within budget, and our salaries are stagnating. We want to make
wages are
our
not
money
keeping up with
too.
the cost of production lately, but the thing is that if you speak to any of the, like, big AAA companies, especially when you eavesdrop in their shareholder meetings, you have them talking about how not only are profits continuously rising, but you have these matters where certain monetization models, hint hint, Battlefront 2, are disabled,
Off.
and they're still able to make a net profit. Like,
Yeah.
Battlefront 2 should not have been profitable with the loot crates disabled. However, there was still a big enough landfall, or whatever you call it. There was enough financial gain there that they could disable their primary means of monetization post-launch and still turn a profit.
Yeah.
It's odd, because costs, tech has been getting better, but that's a constant thing. But tech gets better, production changes, yada yada. Those things cost money, but at the same time, games have been pretty good. Whenever people would complain in the 2000s about, oh, games are $60, that's so much. It's like, yeah, but you were paying the same thing like 30 years ago when Atari games were coming out. Maybe not exactly that much, but
Well, they were up there.
it was similar, yes. So gaming actually has become a way more affordable hobby, but there's always the two sides of the story where the devs, yes, AAA is evil, yada yada, indie forever, but they are trying to make games too, and we could and should on another day go into another topic about pricing models and how they could affect the pricing of games in the future and the profits and yada yada, and tied into our past opinions. But for now, I'll just leave it at they have a point, but it's not going to look good for current income models and things like that for the consumer, even though it is pretty economically fair.
Man, I can't wait for the day we can trade Bitcoin for games.
Can't wait for the day Bitcoin dies so we can just go back to being normal people with computers.
Did you hear about the bubble bursting for Ethereum? It's looking like you may be trading Bitcoin a bit quicker than you think.
Oh, did that just happen?
Yeah, there was an upset in the crypto community.
Yeah, fingers crossed this means I can buy graphics cards again.
Yeah, right?
Nah.
A lot of people seem to be splitting hairs too. I saw a couple threads on personal social media threads, so I'm keeping names out of it. But people were like, "Oh, I just want to buy a GPU," and that's more the side I'm personally on. But people are like, "Oh, well, Bitcoin isn't really GPU intensive. That's Ethereum," and it's like, but that's why the graphics cards have jumped.
Why don't you understand it?
You were
These miners
splitting
aren't
hairs.
spending hundreds of dollars on graphics cards not to make a profit. Like, they're turning something out.
And it's gonna take the market a while to recover too, because they still are recovering from the increased need for production, and then the market's going to be saturated with busted out cards that have been running for 3 months on max load. It's going to be interesting. I have nothing against people I know who are mining, but I just think in general the whole thing is very ridiculous and is way out of hand.
Oh, speaking of cryptocurrency, there was another, gosh, I don't remember the exact amount, but more cryptocurrency was stolen from somewhere in Japan.
Oof.
There was an attempted heist to basically make transfers to these people's personal accounts, and
Man, it's the future.
yeah.
Have you seen Tom Cruise?
The future is now.
The future is stealing digital money.
Yep.
Not just money digitally held in bank accounts. No. Digital money.
Oh,
Mission Impossible, the Ethereum heist.
let me twirl my mustache.
God damn it, don't tell Hollywood. I had that idea first.
Nope, it's too late. It's been in production for the past
Oh, it'll
3
happen.
weeks.
It'll happen.
Oh, well, the first one's free.
But what about the next ones?
The next one, hire me as a writer.
Let me pay in Ethereum for that one.
God.
Yeah, if people were able to make
we have a news update.
Go for it.
Okay, so this news came out today. Getting it from a site that one of our friends reports for, Bamani Style. They're they report on music games and stuff.
Ibamani Style, we love you.
So to quote, let me see who. Harmonix posted this thing on.
So Chris, you were accidentally very relevant by bringing up Rock Band.
Yeah. I don't know where they shared it. I guess it was just on their website.
Twitter or something.
Yeah. Quote, "We have an important Rock Band Network update to share. Unfortunately, all Rock Band Network songs on all legacy consoles, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and Nintendo Wii, will no longer be able to purchase... will be able to... Wait, there's a typo. And will no longer be available for purchase from the Rock Band Music Store beginning later this month. As with other delisted content, owners can continue to play previously purchased Rock Band Network songs as desired. And then, obviously the normal songs are still going to be there. So they're basically getting rid of the network, is what they're
are they
saying.
just delisting PS3, 360, and Wii, or are they taking it off of the Wii U 1 and 4 as well?
I'm pretty sure they say all legacy consoles in parentheses 360, PS3, Wii. So
Okay, so they're just killing off the older generation.
Yeah.
Which is still interesting.
Not that bad,
Yeah.
though. It could be much worse.
The thing is, though, that has anybody else here purchased Rock Band songs in recent memory?
No.
Many of them.
Recent
I have a lot
mean,
of
like since
recent-
Rock Band came out on the PS4 and 1.
it actually says, I don't know why they did not make this really clear in their statement, but the article then says, keep in mind this is only related to community released DLC and not Harmonix released DLC.
So it's just RBN then. It's not the actual licensed songs.
Yeah, it's not licensed stuff. But that's really, I don't know, that's weird.
That was a very poorly worded statement.
Is this from the company?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The clarifications were from Bamani style.
Yeah.
So the only reason we could interpret it is because they did.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I wonder why they made that decision to get rid of the fan stuff and not. I don't know.
You think that would be easier to keep a handle on compared to
Yeah, usually
music
licensed stuff
licensing?
dies out. That's why Outrun was taken off of the store because they lost the Ferrari partnership.
Yeah.
That's why they lost
Well, even just
Afterburn
saying-
because of Boeing.
Did you hear
just saying
similar
it's
things
fine.
happen to Grand Theft Auto with their radio stations? Like in Vice
Wait,
City?
wait, wait, Chris. I didn't hear what Chris said.
Even just staying inside the realm of Rock Band, that's the reason why you can't actually purchase export keys for the older games. You have to have purchased them back when the licenses were still valid, and then export that to the new games for the old songs.
Yeah.
Eric, what were you saying?
It's not all encompassing, but good. Yeah, continue.
So, I'm pretty sure in Vice City, they actually had to patch out some of the songs because they lost the licensing for them.
Yes, and actually, something I'm really glad that it's my brother's technically, but they actually, I don't know how close to the actual release of the game that they did this, but they released an official CD box set it has one CD for every radio station in Vice City, and it has their entire playlist along with some of the in-between things by the radio host.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a cool thing that they actually released, because I don't think that they've done that for any other GTA games since then.
I think 3 had a pretty big OST release. I think.
They released the OSTs, but not as
No, I think 3's was a 5 or 6 CD set too. But don't quote me on that. I'm probably
were they
wrong. I think it was by radio
by
station.
station.
Yeah. But again, don't quote me.
Yeah.
I'm going to quote you.
Okay, quoted me. But, no, go ahead.
You finish what you were going to say, because I was going to bring up a different game with music.
Okay, no, I was just gonna say that it's interesting though because how we kind of had a close call there. What if you're because it's not one of those games that really, how do I put this? It changes, but when you have all those downloadable songs, it really extends the life of your game.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to prepare for that inevitability, and I think a lot of people have thought about that, but...
So, what I want to bring up was another game that would, no one's played in a long time. I'm pretty sure no one has actually played it in, a year. But, Brutal Legend. Have you played it?
Brutal Legend?
Yeah.
Okay, that one's on my list. You got
Wasn't
me.
it free on the Humble Bundle last year?
Maybe? I do, I'm not gonna lie, the gameplay's a little wonky, but I love it.
Basically, Jack Black is telling a heavy metal story with Pikmin.
Yes.
Do you need anything else?
And, it has some great music in it, but, if
They got a
lose
bunch of actual rock stars to do their own voices in there. Do you want Ozzy? Do you want Lemmy? They're there.
Yeah.
is Dio in there? I feel like he is.
Probably. He usually does stuff or did stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
now he's just a hologram.
good times. But yeah, that's like one game that would get crushed by like that'd be a game that would be like crushed by like losing licensing to their music.
Oh god.
Yeah, thankfully
yeah.
they're published by EA, so they can outlive that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a game that relies solely on licenses for its like its
Its flavor.
attractiveness factor.
Yeah.
I'm no legal expert, but just as a consumer, I always found it odd that you could license something for a game and then have it expire and then you can't sell the game anymore.
That is weird.
It's very weird to me because it kind of like it's kind of backhanded towards the people you're licensing to be like, yeah, you can sell this thing with our name in it. Okay, time's up. Hope you made your money. Like,
Have a nice
Music
day.
licensing has been pretty wonky though, and games make a greater effort to be persistent with their content or to improve upon it over time. Whereas a lot of other means of licensing music, it's like you have it for this single cinematic release and the subsequent home release, or you
Right,
have it
which makes
for
way
like
more
this
sense.
commercial line. Versus games where you'd be talking about keeping that license intact for potentially decades or centuries. Like that is not something the music industry is tending towards when it comes to license duration.
I heard
Yeah.
that a company that's really against like, you know how after like I think it's like 100 years, something becomes fair use.
Yeah.
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 Disney's approaching that really fast.
Yeah, they are.
Disney's the reason that the copyright has fair use has been pushed back so many times.
Really?
Like
Yeah,
originally, it would go into the public
watch
domain
some
during the
videos.
it would go into the public domain during the author's life, but while they were no longer producing content. Then it was after the author's life, and then there was the argument to a certain amount of legacy duration while it was still in the family's care rather than the original authors. So
That's a whole mess.
Yeah, basically Disney is the reason. I mean, from what limited research I've done, Disney is the big reason that copyright is such a pain in the ass today. And because the original idea was that, hey, you know, you create a thing, it's yours, you created it, you're always the original creator, but after a certain amount of time, let other people have their crack at it. It's good for society to be growing artistically.
and all this coming
And then
from
Disney was like, but our money.
and all this coming from Disney, who got famous off of public domain fairy tales.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't it ironic?
Yeah, well, it's worked for them. They're this close to monopolizing the American film industry right now, so
Yep.
Yeah. Our
Don't
lovely
we all sound
overlords.
fucking thrilled? And yet, Catch-22, they produce, well, at least in many people's opinion, good content.
I do like their movies.
they
I
own
do
so
too.
much though. It's like you
Well,
can't really
the-
talk about Marvel, Star Wars, and Pixar in the same breath and think they're the same quality of movie, but they're all Disney owned.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah. But I have to say, Pixar makes like some of my favorite animation, period.
Mm.
I love it.
What's the
Pixar's
next-
technically different, they just collaborate.
Well, I thought Disney does own.
I don't think so, unless I'm horribly wrong, which I probably
I
am.
may be mistaken, but I thought they became a parent company sometime.
They might.
I could be mistaken.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Disney would jump at the chance to own anything that, you know, lived, breathed, and drew things.
Is
Kind of
Pixar
their
doing
MO.
anything coming up soon? Because the last thing I remember was Coco.
Coco.
I'm not sure.
Hold on a second.
Which, by the way, it was a La Dia de los Muertos movie that came out on Thanksgiving, and I don't know, it's just the Halloween spirit.
Yeah.
The Thanksgiving spirit.
Yeah, like a possessed turkey. Although we do gather around a table, typically with some form of natural fire lighting, in order to sacrifice a dead animal. So
Yeah, we.
Thanksgiving's
consume-
pretty Halloween.
That's true.
It's actually pretty metal.
Oh, we're doing that. thing
Also,
where
we would be
finish
celebrating it
something
on
in
ancient
our
Native
own
American
words
burial.
to make it sound like it's relevant to our point.
Also, we typically celebrate Thanksgiving on top of an ancient Indian burial ground, so we got the cemetery element in there too. little morbid, but we can do it.
God damn it, Chris. So, our last topic is one that's going to possibly ruffle some sports fans' feathers, if I have anything to do with it.
Do it.
All right, here we go. So, I'm going to jokingly quote or loosely quote one of the Overwatch League announcers. When people were cheering for Texas and saying USA, USA, he said, "No, I forbid you to cheer USA when there is one American player on the team." Now, I have absolutely nothing against. If you want to form a team and you want to fly players in, that's totally fine. I just think it's a little dishonest, and I've always had this problem with sports too. Even though I'm pretty cool with sports, I watch them occasionally, but I always found the idea of liking a team because they represent your hometown to be very disingenuous, considering they just trade the players around.
And not none of them. That's not completely true,
No,
but
yeah.
Not all of the players in the Philadelphia Eagles are from Philadelphia.
Right.
They're just there representing.
Like, just call them the Eagles, you know what I mean? And I legitimately have, this is like 0% a race thing. If you want all of the top players to be from Korea in America, in American leagues, that's fine. If they're good, they're good. Offer them a contract, bring them over. I'm fine with that. That's totally fine. If you want to be better, then train and outplay the Korean people. Like, that's fine. But I just find it weird that we still hold on to this notion of, yeah, the Philly team. Nothing, huh?
Oh, sorry, my OBS was broken this whole time.
Oh, no.
I had to fix it. Like,
This is the technical issues podcast after all at heart.
Yeah, like, it was recording all the audio, but it was a black screen the whole time.
Good.
Cool.
So, yay.
But so the news part of this is that the team named the Philadelphia Fusion for the Overwatch League is they're holding a tournament / showcase where the team, I believe the team will be there. If they're not there, like some of the coaches will be, and also there's another smaller Overwatch league it's still represented like by Blizzard, but they call it like the University League, so it's still like,
oh, is that the collegiate one you told
it's
me
like
about?
a collegiate thing, just like how there is with football. And the collegiate Philly team will also be there, and basically it's like players can apply, and if they send you an invite, you basically just play the game in like a round robin style tournament, and basically at the end of it, they're gonna pick one player and they're gonna give them a contract. Well, offer them a contract to join the like big team, and but the catch is that only people from the greater Philadelphia area can apply. So they want someone that's actually from Philadelphia.
I saw
represent
that you could apply, right?
I did. I did apply. But like I don't know if they have like requirements or what, but even if like, let's just say like I get an invite anyway, I could still might be playing against people who are like way better than me, but it's like, you know, they're accepting tons of people and you're just going to get, you know, you get knocked out, then you get knocked out. It's not like we don't want you, but you know. And I don't know the details of the event, but they're also just holding a normal tournament that day with like prizes and stuff. So, you know, they say like even if you apply and you don't get an official invite, like, you know, still come out and enter the tournament because it's open to the public. So it's the first team I think that will actually have someone from the place that they're representing.
Oh, none of them have a hometown rep?
No. Philly's the first one to do it, which is why it's like,
oh
it's
my
huge.
god.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I didn't know it was that bad. I thought
Yeah.
at least one of the American dudes on like Houston was from Houston.
Well, like, okay, like on like the New York team, for example, like any of the players could be like the Korean players could be living in New York, but I could be totally wrong. But this is at least the first team that's actually making an effort past what their current roster. They're actually like reaching out for a specific location. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, you can have people from wherever the hell you want. If they're good, they're good. I'm all about that. I mean, it's also one of the greatest things about online play, even though, yeah, it can be janky overseas when you're connecting to somebody who's miles over the ocean, but you get to play the true best competition, not just whoever's in your area. That being said, just you're not the Philly team. Like, just let that notion go.
I really don't know what like the origins of that in like how that started in sports, just in general.
I mean, I'm sure if you go back, it's one of those things that
Like
made
location
things
pride, right?
While
What?
It's probably just like location pride. Like, hey, we're from Philly, and we're gonna beat you guys from Jersey, type of thing.
Yeah, no, I guess. Go ahead.
I'm the last person to have an educated opinion on sports, especially here. But as far as I can tell, the basis for those like regional identifiers are the owners rather than the actual players.
I think you're right, actually.
So when we have this suspect consideration of, well, we have Koreans on every team and 2 Korean teams. Meanwhile, we have how many countries and how many districts that don't even have a representative in the league.
Right.
And part of me is just thinking that the players are traded around the same way you would expect in any other competitive pursuit, whether it's a sport or another game.
Yeah. I'm like 99% sure that the Overwatch League doesn't trade players because they kind of like they build like relationships with their team and they're, you know, they
It's kind of a big dynamic in sports too. I mean, building relations with a team to earn each
Oh,
other's
it's
trust.
100% the same
Like-
thing.
oh yeah. But I don't think that they trade players.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's just
Especially not-
that's not why, but I
Yeah.
don't think they do.
When I
Yeah,
was really into Dota, I remember like team members were getting thrown left or right from team to team. Like
Really?
one of the biggest teams back when I was watching was Navi. I think there's like only one original member on the team now from when I was
Oh,
watching.
Yeah,
Jeez.
esports don't really trade that much. They usually just have the athletes get strung out on different forms of stimulants, or they get too old, i.e., the late 20s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Their reflexes
With
are too
most
slow.
sports, of course. Like, you don't
Man,
last that long. As
back in my heyday when I was a junior in high school, man, I'll tell you.
I'll tell you
Basically-
what, I could beat anyone in Street Fighter. I feel like you'd be
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good. I feel like that would be your game, right?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I play fighters all the time. I'm not big on Street Fighter anymore. I mean, I've been.
Were you
I'm
in
gonna
junior
get
year
back
high
into
school?
five. What?
Were you back in the junior year of high school?
Oh, dude, kidding me? Even now, I'll take on anyone in Third Strike. I'll probably lose, but I'll take on anyone.
Oh, I know, so totally off topic, but I saw this today. Did you see the skin sold in CS:GO? It was like $61,000.
$61,000
What?
Yeah,
Real dollars?
yeah.
real dollars.
Signed by a esports player.
Oh my god. Wait. It was a digital
Gun.
thing?
Yeah, a digital gun.
It was a gun, okay.
Yep. And like, that's a lot. Like, I have some expensive stuff on like Steam, but that is just like a different
everyone
level.
does. But that's
But at least our stuff is fucking practical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can just
It's
sign
your
up.
money. You can spend on whatever you want, but
I like to buy a car for that.
yeah.
I'd like to buy a year's salary, please.
Yeah,
Or that.
please.
61,000.
And the guy's like, yeah, both parties were very happy with the decision.
yeah, I bet they were.
Yeah.
So what?
Did any of those
someone
parties fail a
purchased
drug
it?
test?
Did someone purchase it? Or is it just still like
No, it was purchased.
it was? Okay.
It was sold. It's
Yeah.
not just valued at that amount.
Okay.
I think the guy who bought it for like half the price, and then he's like, yeah, I'm not selling it for anything under this. And the guy's like, got you, fam.
God.
Get out. Get the fuck out. Again, can't judge. It's whatever you want to spend your money on, but why?
Gotta get that bling, yo, to show off in game.
But yeah, I mean, I understand things like, I know a ton of people, yeah, I'm a fan of this because my family was a fan of this team and stuff. That's totally fine. And I guess, you know, if there was some reason that the players wanted to represent you, it would make sense. But they're just going wherever offers them a contract, you know? So it's not that they care about Philly. Probably don't give a shit about Philly.
Dude,
And why should they?
I had a good bad time in Philly recently. I found a really cool bar, but then our car got towed. So, you know.
It's, you know, give and take.
Yeah, give
Yeah.
and take. You know, you take the good with bad.
Yeah.
But
You take the tow with the bar discovery. I don't know.
it was a good bar, though. So, you know, worth.
Also, as far as this league
You
comes,
were freaking the fuck out. You were like, Chris, it's the 70s in here.
Dude, okay, that was the day before. Okay, so, like, I leave the Above and Beyond show, so we're jamming out to trance, and then all of a sudden, we walk into a random bar, and we walk back into the 70s. There's disco balls flying everywhere, people dancing, giant, yeah.
Throwing disco balls past your head.
It was amazing, and, like, they had, like, people with afros dancing. I was like, oh my god, where am I? Did I go too fast in the car?
Like enthusiastic patrons who dressed period appropriate? Or like they
Yes.
hired people in afros?
No, like, people dressed for it.
That's
Oh
awesome.
my god.
yeah, we could not tell how sober you were when you were talking about that tow truck time machine. I'm just saying.
He wasn't.
I wasn't, however, it was. I will say I was more sober than when I was talking about. What was that thing I was talking? Oh, Dragon Maids. Yes.
Oh yeah, you were drunkenly rambling about Dragon Maid.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I mean-
That's fine.
It's a good show. Not mad at you. Just factually, you were up there.
It was a good day. It was a good night. So, would you guys like to move on to the next topic? Where we
Yeah, go
speculate
ahead.
about random things.
Do we have any time for a different company insight? Just before we shift into the acquisitions.
What do you mean?
The Boring Company.
What boring
Elon
company?
Musk.
What?
It's literally called The Boring Company.
Oh, the boring
What?
company. Yes, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
We have
Mr. Musk's new evil genius creation.
He's not at all creating demand for a zombie apocalypse. I don't know what you're speculating.
That demand already exists.
Here is that after he was discussing the pros and cons of the flamethrowers on Twitter, hint, all pros, he was able to get a response from Randy Pitchford of Gearbox. And apparently this is the closest thing we have to an actual information release on Borderlands 3, because Randy Pitchford wants to steal Elon Musk's tweets for a weapon description.
Really?
Oh.
That's probably the most interesting reveal I've heard in a long time.
Like,
Yeah.
my
as far
connection's
as
dying.
method.
That's really cool. By the way, I thought flamethrowers were illegal.
He's keeping
depends
the
on your
flame
state.
regulated under 10 feet or some shit.
Yeah, it's like, technically it's a blowtorch, not a flamethrower. It's just being billed as a flamethrower.
Oh, okay.
It's a flamethrower.
It's a
Yeah,
goddamn.
it's a flamethrower, but legally, it's not.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm talking over you guys. I keep cutting in and out.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Don't worry about it.
So yeah, Borderlands 3 is as close to happening as ever.
That's cool. You guys want to do like a big game session for that?
Yes.
Also,
Cool.
I'm just saying, the Boring Company, Elon Musk, flamethrowers. We've been calling him Iron Man. I think he might actually be Cave Johnson. We may never play Half-Life 3, but we may live it.
He's very handsome, of course. Have you not seen his jawline?
Oh, it's great.
I've
Elon
also
Musk
never
is
seen
a
him and
handsome
J.K.
man.
Simmons in a room
You
together.
want to talk
Just
about a
saying.
guy who from the outside looks like he has it all? Elon Musk.
Yeah. Like, goddamn, son.
I mean,
Yeah.
he might have crippling depression, and if so, I feel for him. But if he doesn't, if his life is as good as it looks, oh,
He also thinks that the world is a virtual reality, so If he believes
No,
that,
he-
I'm going to agree with him because he's really smart.
Yeah, but he's
he just
also
wants to die.
probably insane. Let's face it.
Oh, he could probably be insane. He said he thought of it in the hot tub, if I remember correctly.
He speculated that it was a feasible model of the working world, not that it was accurate as far as I remember. But
Okay.
I don't know. I don't keep track of everything he says. Maybe he did actually posit that as a reality.
God.
That sounds like fun. Not gonna lie.
All I know is we.
What?
What?
You died. Chris? Chris?
Hello?
Oh, Chris
Did
is
I
dead.
die?
Yep, you died. Horribly.
Of course. Okay. Did you catch any of that stuff I was just saying?
Nope.
Nope.
Say we have to get Elon Musk to Mars. Like he has to die on that planet, just not from impact.
Or
exactly.
actually, I heard that was one of his goals too. Like, actually go to Mars before he dies.
Yep.
Which I'm a big fan of because I love Mars.
Or if he finds out he's dying, maybe we just line it up so he can have his funeral there. The first death on
Jettisoning him
Mars.
out there.
What, can you imagine having that legacy? The first death on an alien planet.
Yeah.
You would be the red shirt to beat all red shirts.
Like, you're like the Neil Armstrong that didn't come back.
Right.
But yeah.
Oh, wait. We never went to the moon.
Dun 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 dun. Conspiracy theorists.
We never got to the moon. That was Megatron.
Oh, you're right.
Oh no.
Can you imagine, like, dying on Mars and, like, having your body just kind of hang out in space for a while and just kind of
I
float
think you
around?
would decay at a slower rate than you would on Earth, given the atmospheric composition.
Yeah.
That's true.
So chances are your remains would be around a lot longer for explorers.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe there's some like, crazy ass bacteria we don't know about on the planet.
That's a good point.
Is Mars worth it if Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't there?
No. No.
Eric, did you just choke? Or was that a half-assed attempt at Schwarzenegger?
Half-assed attempt for Schwarzenegger.
Okay, so I don't even need John Carter references at this point. Let's just keep going.
So
Okay,
yeah.
you
So there's been news around the block that Steam might be acquired by Microsoft, and same thing about EA being acquired by Microsoft.
unsubstantiated speculation.
Wait. We're at about an hour, so next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z. Chris, you do it. You're better at it.
God.
No.
Please.
All right, cool. That's the end of the podcast. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Have a lovely time.